Dawson's Rambles.
Hey YouTube, Dawson Ryder here. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the episode 2 teaser for BoonBoomger. Now, I usually don't do videos like this, but I'm trying it out, not in kind of like a always do it basis. That was some great talking there just then. But not that I would always do it, but I'm curious, like, if it looks like it's going to be an interesting episode, how you would feel about me doing a discussion or breakdown of the little teasers we get for Sentai and Rider, if it's going to be a big upcoming episode. But I wanted to do it for BoonBoomger because I'm kind of riding the hype. I mean, a lot about this seems pretty par for the course, as we saw from the setup. It's basically going to be about Pink presumably learning more about the world and kind of having her first days as a BoonBoomger. And as the trailer shows us, Blue Ranger's not ready to accept her yet, even though he kind of rolled with the punches with the first episode and stuff. It seems like he's not ready to accept with the team. But it also seemed like he was used to him doing stuff like this, and by him, I mean Red. I imagine maybe he was recruited in a similar way, or I'm curious if maybe he recruited one of the others in a similar way, which I'll get to in a second, but that looks to be pretty par for the course. But I kind of like Pink being our point of view character in regards to meeting the BoonBoomgers, and presumably next week we'll be getting more exposition, and it looks like there might be some fun scenes. You know, we see her in the base kind of goofing off and stuff like that. I really like the base. It's got this kind of nice grounded retro feel to it that simultaneously reminds me of Double's base and Drive's base. Not because I think they're a reference, they just remind me of it. Also, I forgot to comment that Red's outfit looks like he's a 70s action hero, which is kind of funny. But yeah, everything else pretty par for the course. We're fighting a monster of the week in several different locations, one time in the city, one time in kind of the gravelly, like, construction-y area, to use some really, like, high-caliber words like construction-y. And then you see the villains kind of, like, team rocketing it up, watching in glee as their villain does stuff. Now, in regards to sort of interesting stuff to talk about from the trailer, in a lot of ways, actually, what they're not showing is interesting. Like, I would be shocked in a way if we didn't debut one of the auxiliaries next week, just because of how fast Sentai usually does that. Like, I'll be shocked if either it doesn't debut next week, or it does debut next week and they didn't show it off in the teaser, because typically they actually show off the major thing that they're debuting in the teasers. I guess it makes sense. Since it's a kid's show, they're gonna hype them up for it, but I always feel like, don't you want a little bit of a surprise instead of spoiling the big, like, climax of each episode, even though the auxiliary is not a big deal. But you know what I mean. I would just be kind of surprised. I'm kind of hoping it doesn't show up. Like, we see a bunch of mecha footage in this trailer. I'm kind of hoping we at least let one episode breathe before we start introducing an auxiliary. I think that would be actually kind of refreshing. Also, we do get very brief looks at both Orange and Black again. Black Ranger is just like looking to be a comedic scene again. I'll be curious to see how long we slow burn his character. Like, it doesn't seem like he's a BoonBoomger yet. It seems like Orange might be, which I'll get to in a second, but it definitely doesn't seem like Black Ranger is. I wouldn't mind them doing a slow burn. It'd be kind of nice to build up to it. I kind of hope they slow burn Orange and Black's involvement in general, at least especially with them interacting with the team, because I kind of want to see the core team of 3 interact a little bit. Like, if you're going to advertise this core team of 3 in addition to eventually being 5, let me have them operating a little bit on their own first, and I kind of would appreciate that a little bit, and the idea of maybe Black Ranger being built up to is kind of nice. Now, I don't want a Dawn Brothers slow burn where he transforms and meets the team at episode 49, but I wouldn't mind a slow burn. But with Orange, it seems to be an interesting situation where he might already know Red, as people have pointed out from episode 1, and there's even a little teaser scene here where it looks like they're going to be speaking, which makes me curious, like, was he maybe recruited by Boombot at the same time? Did Red maybe give Orange a changer at one point, but they just parted ways? I think that'll be interesting. But like I said, I also think it would be nice to have Orange kind of operating on his own, maybe Black Ranger eventually getting it, and then having the core team of 3 operate a little bit on their own. And it's kind of funny thinking about it, outside of just generally wanting to know about the world and mythology that the BoonBoomger stuff comes from, and the backstory possibly with Orange Ranger, the first episode didn't set up a whole lot I was curious about. Like, usually, you know, it's more writer's thing to have mystery, but usually the Sentai pilots will set up some sort of storylines outside of the base setup or things I'm curious about, and there really wasn't a whole lot in episode 1 that I thought about it. I'm like, I don't have any, like, lingering questions or anything outside of Orange Ranger, which is kind of funny. Not that I necessarily needed it because I loved the first episode, but what do you guys think? Do you think Orange is already a Ranger? What do you think happened between him and Red? How would you like to see that unfold with the Orange and Black Rangers? Let me know in the comments as always. Until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps and ring that bell to get notifications for all my videos. Dawson Ryder, signing out.